All right. It is Winning Women's Wednesday.
Good morning. Good morning. It is Winning Women's Wednesday. I'm excited.
Yes. So today, while I am, again, woefully outnumbered by winning women,
You are.
we are Ashely free.
We are. I'm sad. I miss her.
Yeah. So shout out to Ashely.
We missed you.
She'll be back next week.
The sarcasm she brings is the best.
And the pregame warm-up cussing.
We are going to miss that today.
However, we do have a very dialed in and specifically special situation today.
We do. We have an exciting show and an exciting lineup of guests.
And so we've got the lovely and talented Jennifer Kuczaj, who is perhaps, so how old is Lily?
She turns 11 on the 16th.
So I have known Jennifer for 11 years.
Wow.
I met her when she was super pregnant.
I don't know if it was you or someone in our circle that said I look like a toothpick with an olive on it.
That was not mine, although I will concur. So when I met Jennifer 11 years ago, she was about 5 minutes away from having Lily.
Wow.
And that blows my mind. I feel older than I'm already the oldest guy in the room. So it's like, I know I feel older slightly.
Don't make me cry.
And I will also, while I've got her here on the spot, on camera, I will also give her credit for, I was a mortgage guy in a previous life.
Right.
And there was a bunch of different, things, paths cross and the Venn diagrams overlap or whatever. And Jennifer was one of the ones, or she was the first and most prominent one that took me aside and she was like, what are you doing? She's like, just F those people, F this thing, F that. So Jen can cuss too whenever she needs to.
I was going to say, me?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's me just spicing it up.
That was probably 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Before Lily came along.
Yeah, I've been known to use some colorful language.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So she took me aside because she was. Were you? Yeah, you were vice chair. She was affiliate vice chair of Metrotex when I met her. So she was always at the head of the table, kind of sitting back because she had her baby belly out. But as anything in that world, as you well know, once you volunteer for one thing, the gravity well just pulls you in, and now you're lined up for months.
Yeah.
So we were doing a bunch of different things, and she is sponsored. I got taught how to teach classes and stuff. And so as I'm doing stuff like that, Jennifer was the one that took me aside. And she's like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you dicking around with mortgages and everything else? You just need to go do this. And so here we are. So I give Jennifer full credit for telling me go do your thing. Quit worrying about everybody else. And so here we are.
You were the first one to teach RPR.
Yes.
And I still think that is such an underutilized tool in our
It really is. It really is. I forget about it.
Yeah.
NAR missteps notwithstanding, that is the biggest chunk of money that I know that they spent that actually is worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And no one uses it.
But nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody
And they've
knows.
already paid for it in their dues.
And so now that I introduced Jennifer, I
Yeah.
will let Jennifer introduce our actual guest.
Well, Jo Lam is an incredible woman who has really selflessly taken time to create an amazing nonprofit that is changing lives. And I was so fortunate to be introduced to her through another incredible friend of ours who also has dedicated her career to changing lives and making the world a better place. And I am just trying to be more like them. So
That's amazing. Gosh.
So I'll let her tell you her story and about her incredible nonprofit that we're going to be doing a incredible fundraiser for September 19th.
Awesome.
Called Beauty Bingo.
Yes.
And if anyone knows of a very large venue, the Plano Center is not available that day. I've gotten one recommendation, but I would love if anybody knows of a venue that can hold about 100 people, maybe 10 tables of 10. But we are going to have a fabulous time and do some good.
Yes. Awesome. Well, Jo, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be among this group. You guys are amazing. I love the energy already.
Thank
you. Thank you. We're excited. Well, Rick's got his gimmicks that keep him going. So where's your magic mushroom?
Oh, I'm already jacked.
Yes.
I see it looked from here. It looks like I'm sitting with 8 people. It's just like,
Nice.
no, just kidding. I'm still closing in on 20 years sober.
What's the sober date?
November 11th.
Oh,
I think I got married that day. No, it was the 12th, November 12th.
Congratulations, Rick.
Oh, thank you. Thank
That's
you.
amazing.
Thank you.
So proud
yeah,
of
provided that I live till November 11th.
The odds are good.
Yeah,
don't say that.
That is, we're shooting for that. Yes.
Yeah,
So that'll be 20 years.
Cool. That's exciting.
Amazing.
Thank
Yay.
you. Thank you.
So how did you get into the nonprofit world?
You know, it's really a long story, but I'm going to condense it.
Okay.
But I really believe that the seed of creating Project Beauty started when I had to go through my own experience. You know, I'm an immigrant from Hong Kong.
Okay.
And I grew up in a very abusive household.
Okay.
You know, mental health wasn't a priority then, especially in the Chinese culture.
I'm sure, yeah.
And so my father was he is mentally ill. He's schizophrenic, and we didn't know it
Wow.
at the time, but he was very abusive, very angry. He was also going through his own generational trauma,
Sure,
right, like many
yeah.
of us. And so I experienced a lot of that growing up. But then when you go through abusive, dysfunctional things in your own household, it really puts you on this path to experience more of that because you don't
Right.
have a good blueprint, right,
Right.
of what healthy love is. So I got into more abusive relationships. So long story short, I'm a survivor of domestic violence and trafficking. And so I've experienced a lot of darkness in my life all before I was 18.
Wow.
Had to flee both situations. And thankfully, God had a different plan for me. I'm alive. And so I made it to a shelter. And while I was living at the shelter, I noticed that, you know, items like haircuts, services like haircuts and self-care products was not accessible to women in shelters. But yet, all of us are expected to go on job interviews and to rebuild our
Right.
entire life. And so that always stood out, you know, how many women do not have that. So fast forward to 2018, I'm now married and have kids. And something just really called out to me in my heart that this is the time for me to start something to help other women heal and thrive. And so I went with it. I was really naive. I didn't have any experience in the nonprofit world, just a strong desire to help other women. And so I created Project Beauty that year. It was in 2018.
Wow.
Within 6 months, it was like this huge growth. All the shelters were calling us saying, this is exactly what we're lacking, right? As expected, I knew that there was this gap
You
in the
already knew
shelter
that,
space.
right?
And so that really reconfirmed that this need is huge in the community. And so in 2019, we received our 501(c)(3) status, and we've been on an adventure since.
Wow. Yeah. The nonprofit world, it's very interesting. It's so much work, and it really takes
So
someone
much work.
with a heart. And with the trauma that you've dealt with and that we all deal with, you know, you have two choices. You can either stay involved in that trauma and repeat that trauma in your own life, which is what tends to happen with most people, or you can take a different path. And
right.
you've taken an incredible path. I'm so excited to hear more about it.
Thank you. Yeah, I really feel that this is part of the work that I came to do.
So cool. So cool. So you've been part of Project Beauty since 2019. How's it grown?
Oh my gosh, so much. So this year alone in 2024, we've been recognized as the Social Innovator of the Year by United Way Metropolitan of Dallas.
Congratulations.
Whoa.
That's a big deal.
Thank you.
That's
Yes.
huge.
It's
Yeah.
probably one of the biggest milestones that we've hit in Project Beauty. And since we've received this title, we have experienced exponential growth. I mean, so fast. I was just on Fox News yesterday live doing an interview talking about our impact with other community partners. But we now serve 12 different shelters in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Since inception, we've assisted over 10,000 survivors.
Wow.
We've provided more than $1.5 million dollars of self-care, high-quality products to our community. So we're really proud of the impact that we have.
That's awesome. What does, I don't really know quite how else to ask this. When you say you've impacted women, what does that mean? What do you do for them?
Absolutely. So Project Beauty's mission is really unique. We empower through the universal language of beauty. our entire organization is built on providing programs, beauty and self-care programs that helps a survivor restore their self-confidence, self-esteem, and personal wellness. So what does that mean? We have 3 core programs. The first one is called a Beauty Pamper Day, where we actually go into a shelter, a transition home, or a safe house, where women are fleeting situations, and we provide haircuts, manicures, facials, so that they can still get a sense of well-being, right? And also to look presentable and to feel dignified when they have to go out and look for job interviews and go on job interviews. Our second program,
or just to sit in their own skin. I mean, there's
absolutely.
just, it's one thing, I always laugh about dry shampoo and different things like that, and I'll take several, right? And it's one thing when I can easily access the products that I need.
Yes.
But it's a choice for me.
That's right.
But when it's not my choice, and I don't feel good and I don't look good.
That's right.
It makes a huge difference in not only the way I look, but the way I feel and the impact that I can make with my family and to find a job or anything that I may need to do. So that's huge. That's
the connection between mental health and how we feel and how we look is there. And I think people are now beginning to awaken to that, right?
It's not a vanity project.
It's not a vanity project.
No, and there's also the transformational aspect of, okay, like again, just speaking from the side of recovery, where somebody comes in, like let's say it's a rehab or it's a shelter or it's something like that. There is something about where if you're going to, basically get different or be different, you have to do different.
Yes.
And the idea of, shaving a haircut, for guys, that's what it would be. Where it's like, okay, if you come in looking like a dirty hippie or whatever, you basically are needing to turn your life around, i.e. now in this situation, you're doing it for somebody that might not even have the wherewithal to be able to do that. Or,
exactly.
Or it's not even, not only is it not it's not even a thing that would occur to them like, oh, if I actually get a makeover or I get a physical manifestation or representation of being somebody different, that I can actually start to turn in a different direction.
It's so powerful because you hit all the points, Rick. Number one, it's the power of being seen. So many women and children that we serve say the same thing, and that is, wow, your organization exists for us. To them, they're invisible to the world.
It makes them feel worthy.
Absolutely. Yeah. That there is a community, there's people out there who are thinking of them. That's number one. Number two, like you said, it's not accessible to them. Many of the women, when we give them the beauty bags, when we give them the services, I hear it all the time. This is my first facial. This is my first bag of makeup. Because if you're thinking about a survivor, they've been in a control abusive relationship, they're not allowed to get haircuts many times. It's so common. I wasn't allowed to wear makeup. It's a very common story that we hear. So when we give them a bag of makeup, it's not just a bag of makeup. It's a tool of transformation.
Well, I would think that it would also be empowering and almost in the sense of giving them permission.
Absolutely. Yep. That's exactly what it
and
does.
it gives them something that's theirs. They haven't had anything that was theirs either.
That's right.
So
I think for some women too, I was abused as a child from the age of 5 to 9, and Joe knows I've had other trauma, but I didn't even realize until I was a full-grown adult, like how there's a lot of my health conditions that are being linked back to that PTSD.
Yes.
But I also never learned I'm learning how to take care of myself now.
Yes.
Because I never felt comfortable going to gyms, working out. I would force myself to because that's what all my friends were doing. And, you want to be healthy and stuff, but I never felt safe. Yeah. And so, I think for some women, trauma is different where maybe they don't want to look good because they feel it might attract the wrong
like a
type of
defense
attention.
mechanism.
Yes,
So
for sure.
you get somebody who's walked in your shoes and these people that are telling you it's okay, to kind of reclaim it.
Yeah.
I think that's its own power too.
Yeah. Jennifer, you brought up such a powerful point because, I've been in the world of trafficking, right? I survived that. And a lot of times women coming out of that situation, they had to dress up and do their hair for that purpose. So now we're reclaiming that power
For them.
for themselves.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a great point. But the second program that we have that I want to mention that is very unique and part of the reason why we won Social Innovator of the Year is that we offer a program called the Angel Clinic. And so just a little short tidbit about my own past, and I just want to give a trigger warning because I am going to mention some violence, just a little bit. But in my own situation, I was branded by my abuser. So I'm walking around with the branding on my body.
Wow.
And I went through many years of turmoil emotionally, having to look at my body and seeing initials of a man who abused me for many years. So when I went into the shelter in 2019, I met a lot of other women who actually have tattoos and scars on their bodies from their abusers. And one particular woman that I met, her name is Sade. And when I met her, she didn't have an eye. She lost her hearing because while she was pregnant, she was punched by her abuser.
Wow.
So imagine this woman, she's missing an eye. I'm looking at her, I'm talking to her at the shelter. And immediately at that moment when I met her, I knew how she feels. And without a doubt, I asked her, what do you need from us to help you? She said, I found a doctor, but I don't have money to pay for my prosthetic eye. Right there, I said, we are going to help you. We raised the money in 2 days, and we took this woman, went with her to the doctor, sat with her during her operation, helped her with her 6 months of healing. And when she was done healing, we gave her a complete makeover from head to toe.
That's awesome.
To restart this new chapter of her life. She's now thriving with her baby boy. That was the first incident where I realized there are many women out there walking around with disfigurement on their own physical body that we do not think about.
Right.
So the Angel Clinic exists to provide restorative services to help survivors of trauma who have been physically disfigured.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome.
And there's no other nonprofit that exists with this program right now.
How do you guys raise the funds?
You know what? That's a great question.
Yeah.
I'm a very busy woman.
You are.
Yeah.
You are.
Remember when I said that this is the work that God has called me to do?
Absolutely.
Honestly, when I first started, I was just being vulnerable, just sharing my heart. A lot of people feel that it's a lot of shame attached to these stories. But I went out there and I just started sharing, and people, as soon as they hear the mission, they understand that there's a need. And so everything that we have been able to raise has been just going out there and fundraising with amazing women like Jennifer, incredible community partners. Of course, this year we received our first grant funding from United Way.
That's awesome.
So huge boost.
Yes, yes.
Since then, we received other grant funding.
Yes.
So that's been a huge boost for us. But yeah, up to this year, everything has been donation based.
Wow, that's incredible. And I do want to give a shout out to Jennifer. And how did you guys connect? Because I think that's a really cool story.
Mm-hmm. So I have a friend who's a real estate broker, and we were catching up over happy hour. And it really only takes about one old fashioned, and I start complaining about how
And realtors love happy
people
hour.
just don't
And
do
realtors
enough.
drink.
Yeah. They do.
And I think my microphone's going in and out. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
So he has a friend who works for the juvenile detention arena in Dallas County, and he was like, you have to meet her. So we met up for another happy hour, and she and I just
see a
got to
pattern.
connect.
It's the realtors.
And she's an incredible woman, and she was like, you have to meet my friend Jo Lam. And so she told me Jo's story. She was like, do you know Thrive Cosmetics? I was like, yeah, I love Thrive. She's like, they donate makeup, and they named beauty products after her. Like, she is really like a big deal. And so Jo and I met, and we had lunch, and I just, there's a lot of darkness in the world.
But you
And
made the
when-
comment, and I wanted to highlight this because I thought this was special and important, that you went back to the industry that you're in with the purpose of making an impact.
Well,
and I
went
think that's
through,
cool.
A little bit, maybe not quite not quite midlife crisis, where, so I love working in title insurance. I'm naturally good at it. It took me a while to realize that. But I left for a little while, and I wanted to work for a nonprofit. I was looking at CPS, and the salaries, like, we do not respect the people that do that work.
No.
And we...
It's unreal.
Whole nother show.
Yeah, it's a different show.
Yeah, and
but
so
you're right.
I was trying to find how I could take care of my family and make a difference. And it's very difficult to do. So when when I came back to Tidal, I was, fortunate enough to get the opportunity to come back. I decided, because people like to do good, they also like to have fun. So, I was involved with like Battles of the Bras for Women's Council of Realtors, and Century 21 Judge Fight back then was doing, and they still do like their big Easter Seals events. And through Collin County Association of Realtors, I was helping Texas Sentinels build a home for a wounded soldier. Like, I was gravitating towards all these industry events that were doing good, and I was like, I can do that. So my first happy hour, Rick actually helped me, was my Hello Summer happy hour, and I opened it up to even my competitors, to everyone. But if you like were a competitor, you had to make a donation to the Collin County Children's Advocacy Center. And so I was just trying to find a way to raise funds that still allowed me to do my job. And so we get so busy, sometimes it's hard to be able to do that. So, I'm a spiritual person. Jo was just like, I was like looking at my calendar, and I was like, because I'm so stupid busy. I had one day in September with nothing on it, and my eyes went straight to that day. And she said, what about September 19th? That's North Texas Giving Day. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is the exact day I was looking at on my calendar.
That's awesome.
And so we have friends like Nikki Giovanni Watson. She loves her some bingo. Who doesn't love bingo? And I was like, we should
I haven't played bingo in probably 30, 40 years.
Same.
But it's so
I also want to
fun.
interject
But it's
that
becoming a thing.
September 19th is also my birthday.
No.
Happy birthday.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
so
you
cool.
have to be there.
No way. That
I
is
love
so
it.
incredible.
This is the universe conspiring.
Yeah.
To
I
say
think
this
so.
is meant
I think
to be.
so. I like it.
Right on.
So
At least it's not pickleball.
Yeah. Shout out to Ashely.
We love you, Ashley.
Yeah, she's
That's
pro-
really why she's not here.
Yeah, I was going to say, she's
I
probably not
actually
here.
almost mentioned that. I went to that Starbucks across from Pickleball Kingdom yesterday, and I
Y'all.
thought about her.
She's going to start doing her listing appointments there.
Our friend Ashley is obsessed with pickleball.
Oh, really? I'm
Yeah.
trying to get into it, actually.
can't.
Let's go do it.
I just
Outfits are so
can't.
cute.
I'd say
They are.
beware, because clearly everybody that even does it like for 5 minutes, it's like, oh, the next
They're
thing you know,
addicted.
yep, I'm in for $1,500 worth of pickleball
Yes.
gimmicks.
Yes. The gear's cute. You're right. The gear's
So I was thinking like designer handbag bingo, and then Jo was like, well, what about like I have people that will donate facials and other beauty services, and then I was like, beauty bingo, Project
I
Beauty.
love
Who doesn't
It
love
was
a
just like-
facial massage?
I love
Come on.
all those things.
Yeah. So it
Men
just
and women love all those things. Are you
God,
kidding?
Yes.
I'm over here contemplating Botox.
We're going to have that
You got to
package
have a
for you,
facial
Rick.
first. You
There
got to
we
have
go.
a facial first.
Rick, you're naturally beautiful. You don't
Yes.
need Botox.
Yeah, no, it was meant to be. When me and Jennifer met, we had so much in common, our past, what we've been through, and her heart to serve. I was so impressed because I get approached by women all the time, right? I want to support Project Beauty.
Right.
But there are a few who actually really come with a genuine, authentic purpose of giving back and not just, of course, we all know about cause marketing, right? I mean,
Right,
we
of
love
course.
that. But
Yes.
her heart is in it. And from the moment I met her, I was like, wow, Jennifer, we're meant to meet. And so,
That's so
I
cool.
am so excited right now
Yeah.
to plan this with you and to see all the women and children that we're going to help with this money.
It's
going to
make a difference.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. You want to talk about the goal that we have?
$30,000,
Awesome. Awesome.
Yep.
which
For-
is intimidating and exciting and
We can do
completely
it.
doable.
Yes, we can do it.
And how are you planning to do that? Tell us about the event.
Through sponsors
Okay.
for the event, through ticket sales that go straight to the nonprofit,
And raffle ticket sales.
raffle
Yep.
tickets.
Awesome. So
So-
exciting. And the event is when?
September
September
19th.
19th.
On
Okay.
North Texas Giving Day.
Excellent.
And we
Excellent.
are already on the North Texas Giving Day website right now.
Oh, wonderful.
So if they want to
Okay.
donate, they actually can.
Awesome.
To start.
Awesome. Which, if someone wanted to donate, how would they do that?
Yeah, they can actually go straight to the North Texas Giving Day website and punch
Okay.
in Project Beauty, and they
Great.
will find our organization and read all about all that we do, how
Okay.
we support. And then, of course, they can also go to our website, right?
Okay.
Which is theprojectbeauty.org to,
Okay.
to donate via PayPal as well.
Wonderful.
There's
I'm
so
sure
many.
there's so many. Yeah.
There's so many, but you know, one of our favorite, I feel in my heart, I love working with children. And, you know, when I first started going into the shelter again, right, in the Project Beauty capacity, I forgot how many children are there. And these are children of the moms that are fleeting.
Yeah.
And we give them haircuts. And so when we see the smiles from the women, from the moms, of course we're like, wow, you know, the transformation. But the children,
Yeah.
they don't want us to leave.
Well, and that's a whole nother level of helping the moms.
Oh my gosh.
Because
yes.
they've not been able to do these things for their children. I mean, as a
Yes.
mom, if you've ever had to tell your child no because you couldn't afford something, or it's one thing to tell them no because it's not reasonable and you're just not going to do it.
Right.
But when you can't do it, there's a whole different feeling that comes with that. So for you to be able to provide that is such a gift, even more so than what you're doing for the women, I feel like.
Yeah, it's equally as important.
Yes.
You know, we provided first haircuts to many children at the shelter where we got to bag up the hair and give it to the mom.
That's
we're
so
part of so
cool.
many core memories.
Yeah.
Again, we think it's just a simple haircut, but so many
much
things
more.
happen in those moments.
Yeah.
But in August, we're actually going back to, we're partnering up with Children's Advocacy Center of Collin County to
Wonderful.
provide haircuts for all the clients that they serve. We are also going back to many shelters like Mosaic Family Services to provide back to school haircuts. So those are some of my favorite events. But another event that I really love is that we have a initiative called Project Glam. And what we do is we actually help underprivileged girls go to prom.
Oh,
So this
love
year
that.
alone, we
Wow.
helped over 300 girls in the Dallas-Fort Worth area go to prom. We provide the complimentary dresses, the accessories, the shoes, and the beauty services. So we are super
I
proud
have a
of
gown,
that.
by the way. that I
Okay,
need to get
yes.
you, which women, we all have spent so much money on these gowns that we
yes.
wear to one event.
One event.
And then they just are in our closet, and we don't want to get rid of them because we spent so much money for them. Now you can donate that somewhere where it will be loved and somebody else
Truly
will be
appreciate it.
beautiful in
Yes.
it.
I'm thinking of
So,
Gracie's prom dress right now.
How did they get dresses to you?
So every year, annually, we hold a prom dress drive with Legacy West. I'm sure you guys heard
Yeah.
of Legacy West. So they have been a amazing community partner with us since 2021. So annually in March, February, March, we hold a prom dress drive there. So that's when we actually get to take all the dresses in during that time. So that information will be coming out, you know, soon around the holidays. But hang on to them for now, and then at that time we can take them.
So I've served on the board of a nonprofit that helps women. And what I know is the leader of the nonprofit, the owner, the founder, is usually working 100 million hours per week.
You don't say.
So what are you doing to take care of yourself?
You know, that's a
Great
great question.
question.
That's a great question. I actually just came back from taking a sabbatical.
Good for you.
Because the first year I worked, I was in the shelter every month. And the thing is, people don't realize when you're in the shelter space, it's very intense.
Yes.
You know, when you see our Instagram posts and our newsletters, smiles, but behind those photos are stories that I literally go home and cry about all the time. And so mentally, for my own mental health, I had to start being intentional about taking time off.
For sure.
And I'm not just talking the talk. I am walking the walk. I am a huge advocate for self-care. And I think every woman, no matter what we do, men and women, we need to take time out and say, you know what? I'm mentally burned out. I need to go take a break.
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
For sure. And so do you work for the nonprofit full time or do you have another job?
I work for the nonprofit full time. I am not a paid staff as of right now. I am
Also-
100% volunteer based.
Wow.
Yes.
I actually run my own business, a consulting firm that helps women heal and thrive in the community.
Okay.
And then I also I homeschool my son as well. I like to live life on the edge.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. How old's your son?
He's almost 12.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay. So you're a busy girl.
I'm a busy girl.
Goodness. And what kind of support do you have?
You know, I have a great community around me. Even though I don't have any immediate family here around me, my community has really become my family. And that's part of why I'm so passionate about creating a community of sisterhood for mothers, especially single mothers, to know that they are not alone.
Yeah.
Just this past Mother's Day, we partnered with JCPenney's to do a huge giveaway for single mothers in the community, where we got to nominate great single mothers, and we selected 5 winners along with JCPenney's, and they came into JCPenney's right here in Frisco and got a huge makeover and shopping day. So we try to do things all the time that lets people know that they're loved and valued.
That's
JCPenney really stepped up on that one.
Oh, yes. They're amazing company.
So y'all
that
remember
give.
them when you're shopping.
Please do. They really do a lot for the community, for
They
sure.
do. They always have.
Always have. And I feel like people need to start shopping with companies that give back.
Yes.
Because
support
you want
the
your money.
companies that support you.
Absolutely. And JCPenney's is definitely one of them.
That's awesome.
A little plug for them.
Yes. Thank you. Gosh, it's such a heavy topic. It's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
You mentioned, of course, the women and the children.
But it's prevalent.
It's so
That's
prevalent.
the thing. Is no one likes to talk about it.
People don't
but
realize-
it happens all the time,
And
and in places people would not expect.
There's
And
Can I just give them quick stats?
yes, please.
So 1 in 3 Texans will experience domestic violence in Texas.
That's unreal.
1 in 3. So right here, right?
Yeah.
And then Dallas is the number 2 highest trafficking cities
I had heard
in
that.
Texas.
It's terrifying.
It's not something that we're proud to have, right?
No,
to claim.
so we don't talk about it.
Yeah, but it's happening right in our backyard.
That is unreal to me. And I have heard that statistic before, and it terrifies me as the mom of a 17-year-old daughter. Like,
Well, my daughter and I had an experience at a grocery store where we were shopping, and I'm very spoiled. So my husband does the grocery shopping. He started doing it during the pandemic.
Nice.
And I think he also realized it saves him money to
Yes.
keep our daughter and I out of the
Yes.
stores.
Yes,
But
very
we,
much.
We had to go get some stuff for like a class party or a grade party. And we were just looking at everything and throwing everything in the cart. And I noticed this man watching us. And I acted like I didn't notice. And he was like following us from aisle to aisle and was looking at bread, but not picking up bread. And so I looked at my daughter, and I've had some conversations with my daughter. And I said,
who's 11?
Well, yeah, and she wasn't even 11 when this happened.
Like, imagine having a conversation like that
I've
with
probably
a child.
had conversations with her. She's a very mature 11, but I've probably had conversations with her. I've been very careful about how I make her aware of things. But I mean, she might have been 7 or 8 years old when I was like, never let them take you to the second location. You know, those type of things I learned from Oprah. Shout out to Oprah.
We love Oprah.
We do. So it was really weird. I looked at her and I said, hey, I need you to hop on the cart. And she goes, I know, I saw him.
Whoa.
And
Crazy, right?
right at that time,
At that
the
age.
end of the aisle, he leans over and talks to this other guy with a beard, wearing a Cowboys jersey. And they talk to each other, then they go their ways. We never see the first guy again, but then the second guy starts following us around. And so we quickly, she hops on the cart, and I push her over to the dairy section because, it's kind of slanted where the yogurt is. You can kind of hide over there. I mean, I must have bought 30 yogurts just trying to kill time. And then he saw us, and he was getting milk. And she hops on the cart again, and we go to check out, and she's like, he put the milk back. She's like watching him as I'm pushing away. So I'm looking at the checkers, and I'm like, okay, old lady, old man, young adult man. So I told him, I said, hey, this guy's been following us around the store, maybe nothing, but, is there any way you could walk us out to the car? And this guy comes to check out. I felt so bad. He's like, sir, I'm closed. And this kid, without even thinking, loads our groceries into the car, walks us out. I went a different route home because I'm that paranoid person.
Yeah.
Because
You have to be.
I've had
Rightfully
reasons
so.
to be.
Yeah.
And my only regret in that whole situation is not calling Plano PD and telling them to pull tapes and see who those guys. It was just 2 white guys, just.
So scary. And such a scary lesson for your daughter.
Yeah, and then we went to another store not long after that, and there was a gentleman that was we were buying food for a food drive, and we were putting a bunch of macaroni in the cart, And he started, like, we were counting the boxes. We were trying to win. We were trying to make our class win the food drive.
We've done
And,
that.
Yeah, so he was, like, saying numbers, like 7, 30, like, just trying to, and she's like, Mom. And I go, he that guy didn't scare me. I was like, he's trying to make us uncomfortable, but he didn't seem like a real threat. He just seemed like a creep.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like trying to teach her.
The difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, to recognize that.
Almost like threat assessment.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Just even
But
think about that.
it is scary out there, but people need to talk about it because, you know, the Collin County Children's Advocacy Center, they helped a 5-year-old boy with their rainbow room. He could go in and get anything, came out with a toothbrush, and they were like, oh, no, sweetheart, you can get anything. And he's like, I didn't have one of these. And you know, a 15-year-old that was being trafficked here in Plano, and the pimps label them with tattoos, and those were reminders, and they got a doctor to donate laser tattoo removal. And then she said, now I feel like I can start my life. I mean, this stuff is happening
Right in front of us.
in our own backyards,
Yeah.
but people don't like to talk about it, and people need to be aware so that if someone's lucky enough to have never been touched by this and they're living in a world where they're not fully aware of it, like, I'm so grateful that there are people that have had experiences, but more often than not, like sleepovers. Like, my daughter wants to have a sleepover. I told her since she was little she can't do sleepovers, not with family. And I'm going to probably let her have a sleepover. But one of her friends the mom will not let her have a sleepover if there's any man in the house. And my daughter told my husband that, and he's like, okay, I understand, you know,
Yeah.
so.
We don't do sleepovers.
Yeah,
Never.
but a lot of parents that invite your child for a sleepover, if they've never been touched by it, they're offended.
Yeah.
So we need to make that known so that people know it's not you. It's just we don't know you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great information. I think we need to stay vigilant. You know, we can't pretend that's
We
not
can't just sweep
happening.
it under the rug.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
You're right.
thing. I think people are uncomfortable, so
If
they
we
don't
don't
want to
talk about it, it'll go away, but it
and
doesn't.
online safety. I just want to talk a little bit about that. You know, like games that the kids are playing these days. A lot of predators, they find people that they are planning to traffic through those games.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So really be vigilant about who your child is friends with, where they're going, what sleepover, meet the parents. Like, you really need to be involved in your child's life.
Yes. Just yes.
But
Absolutely.
it's hard because there are a lot of single parents out
Yes.
there
Yeah.
that are working and exhausted and trying to find time for themselves, which is non-existent when you're a single parent without a support system.
And that's why it's so important to have those community and support groups for single women who are working 2-3 jobs trying to support their families so they can be
Absolutely.
comfortable.
So they just don't have the mental energy or capacity
Right.
to tell their child who's like, everyone else at school is playing this game. Let me play this game. Let me play this game. And,
Yeah.
you know, to sit there and monitor it. So I think as parents, we need to share helpful tools and,
Yes.
and support those people
And
in our
support.
community at our children's schools and things.
Well, this has been so interesting and enlightening. And I'm so excited for you and everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
What's next for you? What are you envisioning?
You know, ultimately, our biggest vision that we're trying to come together to manifest is that we want to open up a trauma-informed beauty wellness center for individuals who've experienced trauma, right, in some way, homelessness, domestic violence, trafficking, so that they can have a safe space to receive these services.
That's
so
awesome.
we're just looking for that individual to donate a building to us.
Awesome. Awesome. I believe it's going to happen.
Well,
Absolutely.
If God gave
I
you
might
this
could help with
purpose,
that.
then
I might know a person or two that would have
you
some
know
insight, that
everybody.
would have some insight to that.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Well, thanks
So.
for being here today. We're excited for your event, September 19th.
September 19th on North Texas Giving Day,
And it's
Beauty Bingo.
bingo.
It's
I
going to be
can't
in the
wait.
evening time.
6 to 8 p.m.
6 to 8
Awesome.
p.m. So if you are interested, I would say reach out to Jennifer right now.
Perfect.
If you're a company that wants to sponsor a table, how do they reach out to you, Jennifer?
My email is jkuczaj, Kuczaj, at protitle.tx.com. Rick, I will share this podcast. I will post it in the comments.
Love it.
Same.
Yes, and we will definitely put your contact in. That was a lot to take in for those of you that
Yeah, it's a very big piece.
talk to text as far as Jennifer's email is concerned. I still don't. I could get your name right the first time, but probably not.
I remember when I left the Richardson Realtor Workshop early to get to another meeting, and I won that $50 Amex gift card, and everybody's texting me, and I was like, well, maybe that person deserved it more, needed it more. And Rick was like, but the important thing is when they called your name, the person mispronounced it, and like 50 people in the audience were like, Kuczaj. He was like, you made it, girl.
That's amazing.
Success.
Amazing. Well, this has been a great episode.
Absolutely.
So excited to learn about your organization. Really
Thank you
cool.
so much for the opportunity to share what we're doing in
Thank
the
you
community.
for all the work you're doing. That's amazing. Thank
you.
you. That's all we've got today,
That's
guys.
it.